All right, so my second SBT motor has arrived. The first one blew up after about 2 hours of runtime. And I pulled it out and sent it back to them. I know that the motor had a bad crank bearing. I have pictures of that. Didn't have to take it apart to know that. You could just see that through the intake. But I sent, I called them up. They're like, "Yep, no problem. Send it back." Send it back to them. I had to pay for the shipping. Ended up being like 150 bucks to ship it back to them. Had to find my own box. Box was much smaller than this. And they said they received it and they sent me a new one. Now they told me I wouldn't have to pay for installation gaskets, that they would include them. Here they are, so that part's good to go. It's like 40, 50 bucks. In my opinion, it's not my fault the motor blew up. According to them, there should be a pamphlet in here telling me why it blew up. I'm kind of curious what that's going to say because I obviously know what failed on the motor, so I'm curious as to what they say caused the motor to fail. And if that matches. But holding the camera away because this paper's got my information on it, but it just says warranty. It says they include the gasket kit in the motor. And then they've got some writing here. Let me set that aside. Also, it looks like they included these guys, which is important because I actually took the old ones off the old motor, but one of them cracked because these are like kind of thin, and they gave me new ones, so that's cool. Get another sticker. Stickers are always nice. And I also don't know, before I open this up, I don't know if they fixed the motor that I originally sent me or they just sent me a whole new one. They don't really tell you much, so let's see here. Okay. So, here's the motor. Smells like packing oil, so it's got...
Do you smell it? That smell. A kind of smelly smell. A smelly smell that smells.
Got a date on it of 11/2/22, and you know, I have the serial number for my motor, so I could easily just check that. But let me put this down and get the motor turned out and read that pamphlet. Alright, so I had a sec to look over the motor and read their pamphlet. Motor looks pretty good. I mean, this is roughly the same as the other one. It does have a different serial number, so it is a different motor. They didn't rebuild the one that I sent back. They just sent me another new one, and everything from here looks relatively decent. I want to crank it over so I can see the pistons and that kind of thing, but for the moment, everything looks intact. As far as I can tell, everything looks good. I read through their paper. Show it here real quick. So it says, lean condition, rear cylinder piston skirt scored and coated with a grayish soot. Rear connecting rod and bearing got hot and seized. Rod is very black, bearing intact. I'd have to know what bearing they're talking about because I have pictures of the connecting rod bearing that you won't be able to see. Obviously, I don't have a light, but the one you'd see right here, so the one that actually connects to the rod. I have pictures of that, and it is totally missing the bearing. Like, it totally blew out, is gone. So when they say bearing is intact, my question for them is, are they talking about the rod bearing or are they talking about the main bearing? Because the rod bearing is gone. I mean, and to me, this grayish soot, that would literally be the remnants of the bearing The scoring on the skirt could be from the bearing blowing out. You know, ingesting a bearing would cause grayish soot and score marks because the bearing got turned to basically dust. As for a lean condition, I mean, it's possible, but it just doesn't... To me, a lean condition would cause the piston to melt way before the main rod bearing down below would blow out. That bearing down below gets coated with fresh gas and oil every stroke, versus the piston, obviously, is where the combustion's happening. It's going to get way hotter way quicker. And then soot, I mean, to me, that would be more from too much oil, which wouldn't cause a failure. So I don't know. I'm gonna call them and talk to them, and hopefully they're productive in conversation. I don't really, to me, there's nothing they have really to gain from not being honest, because they already sent me a new motor. I mean, if they sent me a crap motor the first time, that's kind of crappy and shows badly to them, but I mean, I have to get this motor in and running, so I kind of want to know if I did actually mess it up or not, which I'm leaning towards it wasn't my fault. But this motor looks pretty good. You can see there's some debris and crap hanging out, which isn't great, but everything looks nice. Everything seems to be put together. They included everything that they're supposed to, so we'll just go from here.